Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Bianca Collins. I'm the curator of public programs for the Fowler Museum at UCLA. The Fowler is very pleased to present today's program as part of our World Arts Localized digital programs. This is the fourth in our Global Cuisine cooking lessons, which offers opportunities to learn how LA's favorite international restaurants cook up their most famous, easy to make dishes in live cooking classes led by their chefs on Zoom. It turns out when food is your love language, some secrets are too good not to share. The renowned Oaxacan restaurant La Gueleguetza website says it all. ilovemole.com. In honor of the Mexican holiday Dia de los Muertos, which is often celebrated with a dinner of mole, co-owner Bricia Lopez has joined us today to teach us how to make Gueleguetza's famous Estofado de Pollo, a dish featured in the restaurant's 2019 cookbook, Oaxaca, Home Cooking from the Heart of Mexico. Ingredients lists and prep instructions were sent upon your RSVP confirmation. I hope that everyone who joined us today has your ingredients and supplies prepared and ready to cook. If you have questions during this program, please submit them via the Q&A function found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You can submit and upvote questions that you would like to hear answered as we're cooking or at the end of the program during Q&A. We can't see your lovely faces cooking this delicious food, but Bricia and I want to see your progress and the beautiful dishes that you make. Show off your culinary skills on Instagram or Facebook by tagging us at Fowler Museum and La Guelaguetza. Okay, that's enough chatting. Let's get cooking. Bricia, over to you.
Am I here? Am I live? Am I done? Hi, everyone. I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much to the Fowler Museum for hosting this cooking class. Welcome to my home. I would show you around, but it's a mess because I'm building my altar today. So it's like full of flowers and a lot of clutter. But we're not here for that. Today we're here to make Estofado de Pollo, which you can find. My stove is doing something. We're cooking out of our cookbook, Oaxaca, Home Cooking from the Heart of Mexico. I hope every single one of you has a hard copy at home. And if you don't, order one after this class. But I know you guys have the recipe for Estofado de Pollo found in page 184. You're following from the book. If not, I'm sure you have the recipe that was sent to you. Over here, we have all the ingredients set up. I know we sent instructions that the chicken should already be cooked. So as you can see here, my chicken has been cooked. I took 3 cups of chicken stock out already that we're going to use in a little bit. In a little bit. Here are tomatillos and tomatoes. And my broiler is at 500. I know we mentioned to have that ready. We have the almonds and the raisins and the sesame seeds, thyme, oregano, cinnamon, cloves, allspice, jalapenos, olives, molcajete. Let's get started from the beginning. First, over here in my beautiful oven that I love so much, I am going to pop some chopped onions and some garlic over so it can get nice and roasty. Because the onions are chopped, actually, I'm going to start, actually, we're just going to pop this in the broiler right now. It's going to get, even if it gets burned a little bit, no big deal. This is just to get all the sweetness and all the beautiful flavors of both the garlic and the onion out and get it nice and charred. You can follow along with me at home. I know we said to have your broiler ready, so if you did your homework, it should be ready.
Yeah, we have an early question.
Already? I just got started.
I know. Someone's wondering if they want to make the recipe using vegetables rather than chicken. Would that work? And if so,
100%.
what vegetables do you suggest?
100%. You can definitely use vegetable stock instead of chicken stock. I'm making chicken because that's the way it's done traditionally. You can also use lengua, which is beef tongue. It is so delicious. Estofado with beef tongue is so good. With seared beef tongue, it's like out of this world. Okay, so while we have these vegetables getting nice and charred. Hopefully I don't forget about these. Forgive me, I have a 3-month-old. So I'm like not really, I'm on like sleep deprived a little bit, okay? So don't like at me if I like burn something in this class. I hope I don't. So we're going to heat up a nice thick pan. Here we're going to fry our nuts and our raisins. We have almonds and we have sesame seeds and we have raisins. So these three we are going to fry. And then the other spices that we use in this mole is oregano, tomatillo, thyme, cinnamon, cloves, and allspice. And these we're going to, ¿cómo se dice? Heat up in a comal, in a griddle. But let's start with frying these. Let's get your pan nice and hot. Put some frying oil. I like to use grapeseed oil when I fry things. I don't know what you guys are using at home. For the sake of your pans, I hope you're not using olive oil to fry. Just use nice frying oil. We're gonna fry the almonds, and actually the almonds in this is, I would say, the easiest of the moles to make. You will see. I mean, we're gonna do it in an hour. It's really, really nice. It's really, really easy. But the flavor of the almond is what's really gonna come through, and you'll see it at the end when everything comes together. I'm gonna start also cooking my tomates and tomatillos. If you have these at home, I would suggest that you kind of put those in your stove too. How many of you guys are actually cooking along with me? This is so much fun.
We have 125 people cooking live with you, and two people have actually requested, Liz, that we try to keep the camera moving more slowly because it's kind of dizzying right now. Thank you.
No worries, guys. We will go slow for you. So this is what I'm doing right now. The way I check if the oil is hot, I put 1 almond. If you can tell right here you want to just zoom in, there's 1 almond in the oil, and once the almond starts, doing its thing, and I see that it's starting to bubble, then I'll know to throw the rest of the almonds in. You don't want to throw the almonds in when the oil is not ready. Otherwise, it's going to get like way too oily. And as you can see, there's smoke coming out of my broiler already. There we go. Oh, see, I knew it. We're going to burn something today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn them. As you can see, they're nice and charred. We're going to, these garlics are absolutely perfect. It's exactly what you want them to look, but on both sides. So I'm just going to turn them, flip them around. I'm using my hands because I'm eating this in my home. So I'm not at the restaurant. I'm not serving this to people. So don't go crazy over there by me using my hands. Okay.
So we're preparing the frying for the almonds only, or is there something else that you're going to fry?
Right now we're doing, we're going to fry the almonds and the sesame seeds. And this is really quick. This is like a really quick fry that we're going to do because we don't want them to burn. Here's the thing about mole. The thing about mole is that you want to fry and grill things, but you don't, and you want to get to the point where you get all the sweetness and nuttiness and all those beautiful flavors out of the nuts and the spices, but you don't want to burn them. And that's really what makes a mole a great mole. As you can see, this mole doesn't have any dried chiles. Usually like el coloradito or mole negro, mole rojo has a lot of dried chiles that you smoke first. And that's when you have to get really good at making sure that chiles don't burn. And that's just a skill you have to acquire. The more and more you do it, the easier it'll get, and the more you'll become one with the chile, and way better. It'll just get easier. So for here, what you gotta, if you burn the chiles, that's it gives it that like really bitter taste. You don't want a bitter mole.
The almonds are
so here, what you want is just, you don't want to burn these. You don't want to burn these almonds.
Is it on medium heat?
Oh, it is on medium heat. Once it's hot, once the oil is hot, medium heat is good. So this is again a quick fry. You just want to get those flavors of the almond to come out. Almond is so, you know, it's incredible. I always like trip out like when I have a seed, something like almonds, and you have it completely raw, and just putting a little bit of frying it in oil and adding some salt or just roasting, the amount of flavor that comes out is just like, it's ridiculous how the
And so that was sesame seeds.
sesame seeds super fast because they're so small. And again, I'm using a slotted spoon for this, but I'm actually gonna pull this out of the heat really quick because it's already really hot and my spoon's coming out. So I'm gonna get another. I'm gonna get a. What did he say? I think it's called a. Is it called a spider? I'm not really sure what this contraption is called in English.
And so are the tomatillos and tomatoes boiling right now, or?
Yeah, our tomates and tomatillos are just out in water, and we're gonna and as you can tell in the recipe, it's only a quarter of water that you want them in, and a lot of people are very surprised and like, why not boil them in like full water? And you just want them to change color. I don't know if Elizabeth can like kind of zoom in here, but they'll just start cooking on their own juice. So we started with a quarter cup of water, and as you can see, the water from the tomatoes started to come out. I mean, if you were home, I'm sure you're starting to smell those sesame seeds, right? Anyone want to mention about the smell of the sesame seeds? It almost smells like popcorn in a sense. I don't know if you guys are getting the same thing. Sesame seeds, again, super fast.
Oh, we can't hear you anymore, Bricia.
Hear me now?
Okay, yeah, now I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was saying sesame seeds super quick to cook. So as you can see, I took my pot away from the fire because I didn't want them to burn. But they're nice and roasty. I don't know if you want to zoom in. These smell a little bit like popcorn to me when they get fried. So good. The others, again, these nuts, very, very fast to fry, so be careful. Next up, we're gonna fry the raisins after I take out all of these sesame seeds.
Hey Liz, I think your fingers over the mic because now she's muted, so just make sure to stay off of that. And then someone's asking if Bricia, you can just pause and go over everything you've done thus far because some people are still kind of up.
Of course. So I'll go through everything while I scoop out the sesame seeds. How's that?
Great.
So far what we have done is number one, we have chicken. I have a whole chicken cut in 8 pieces. I went to the store. Well, my husband went to the store. And he asked our butcher to just cut up a chicken in 8 pieces. That I boiled with water, onion, and garlic. That you can see over there. Just boiled chicken. I took out 3 cups of broth from that from the water that it was cooked in. We have broiled. We have broiled our onion and our garlic. Right now, we are frying our almonds and our sesame seeds, all while our tomatoes and tomatillos are boiling.
Great. And this is a Breville onion oven that you're using?
Oh yes, I love that little. I mean, this. I have a full like stove here, as you can tell, but I love my little toaster oven. I don't know why. Everyone always makes fun of me, like, why do you love this little thing so much? But I just love it because it's just so easy. It heats up super fast, and unless I am, doing a whole tray of chile, sometimes it's easy when you're making mole. Sometimes it is easier to just pop them in the stove if you're doing a big sheet and just turn them really fast, as opposed to doing it over the griddle. It's like a little trick I've learned. So unless I'm doing a lot, big sheets, I just use my little toaster oven. I love it. It's so small and mighty. I'm like a big toaster oven fan. Okay. So I have scooped out the sesame seeds. And now what I'm going to do is put this back in here. And I'm going to fry my raisins. Still got some in there, but it'll be fine. I won't use this one. I always call this sort of like I'm adding just a little bit more oil because it does need it. Questions so far, everyone?
We're doing okay.
Making mole is not as difficult as people make it out to be, I promise you. Now, if you're making mole for 100 people, yes, you're gonna need a lot of help. But if you're making mole for your family of 4 or 6, you probably spend like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
And you said grapeseed oil was better for your pans. Why is that?
Yes, grapeseed oil is so good for your pans. I never fry with olive oil, especially when it's high heat like this. Avocado oil is really good too, but I personally, we go through tubs of grapeseed oil in this house. I love grapeseed oil. So here, these raisins are gonna do this like popping noise, and you'll hear it soon. And once you start hearing that, they start puffing up and that puff noise, that's when you know they're ready. And again, super fast, a few minutes. I suggest that you always have your cover here around here, because sometimes things pop and we don't want to lose an eye. Okay, during my cooking class, everyone. There, that's it. It's done. They're puffed up. They're ready to go.
So will you need the broiler again, or can it get turned off after the onions and garlic are charred?
What was the question again?
Do you need the broiler again, or can it get turned off after the onions?
Oh, you can turn it off. We're done. We're done with the broiler.
Okay.
We are done with the broiler. Anyone else have questions? But I want you to see how the raisins just changed color and they puffed up, and how quick that was. Oops. Now, Elizabeth, do you want to come close? Now here we have our fried almonds, our fried raisins, and our fried sesame seeds. And this is really like the base of so many moles. Like, obviously, if we were making mole negro, like we would fry plantains and onion and garlic and the whole shebang. But this is the estofado, kind of like that base that's going to give it that beautiful flavor. Okay, so now we're going to toast the spices. I have a little comal here, but you can use a griddle too, or any pan that you have, really. We're gonna get it nice and hot. And here is what we're gonna put on top of it. We have our thyme, our oregano, our cinnamon and our garlic cloves. And we are going to just show you what. Let me get something. This is gonna go quick too. Questions thus far, people. Questions thus far.
Well,
You guys slow down.
Everyone's doing okay. Someone was asking if she says, so sorry to ask, is there any way you can just go through the steps quickly one more time and then
Of course. No, yeah, of course. That's what I'm here for. So let's talk about let's work backwards. Right now we're in the toasting process. This is what we want to call it, toasting process. I am
Is that leaf
toasting.
oregano?
What was that?
Is it leaf oregano you're toasting or ground oregano?
This is thyme. This is dried thyme that I'm putting over a hot comal, so we can get it like smoky. Oaxacan food has a lot of like smoky like flavors, like roasting, smoky. We love all of that. That's why we love our mezcal. But yes, steps. Cook chicken, number 1. We have our garlic and our onion that's been broiled, again, to get it nice and roasty, and get all those beautiful, all the sweetness of both the garlic and the onion to just kind of, that's done. And as you can, that's actually right there, already done. We have fried our raisins, our almonds, and our sesame seeds. We are boiling and cooking our tomatoes. And right now what I'm doing is I am toasting my spices. I'm starting with thyme. And after this thyme, I'm gonna follow with oregano.
And when you follow with oregano, is it ground oregano or is it full?
Yeah,
leaf?
it's actually full dried oregano.
Okay, got it. Leaf oregano.
And after this, and then we're gonna put all of these beautiful spices in a molcajete, and we're gonna grind them. And again, the reason we're doing this, and you'll smell it right away when you start doing this in your home, like all of these smells of spices are going to just take over your house, and you'll see like, oh, this is why she's toasting them, because all of these flavors are so important. These smells are what it's really what's gonna like bring the mole together. And we're not burning them, we're just toasting them a little bit. We're just kind of like, here, and you can tell it's starting to change color. That's ready. I don't want it to burn, so I'm going to transfer this to my molcajete.
And the comal, where did you get it and how did you cure it?
Oh, this comalito. Oh, this is from Oaxaca.
Straight from the source.
Yeah. Oh, my eye. Sorry, guys.
And then someone's asking what garlic is in the broiler with the onions because they put garlic in their stock with the 10 garlic.
Oh, okay. So in the ingredients, there's 3 garlics, and then it says plus 10 more peeled. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that are in the broiler.
So 10 are in the broiler.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's in the ingredients. It says 3 and then 10 more.
So do you ever use Mexican oregano for this recipe?
Of course. You would want Mexican oregano, dried, of course. This is Mexican dried oregano.
Oh, cool. And how do they know when the almonds are ready?
They will start to change color, and you'll see a little here. But Elizabeth can actually zoom in to the almonds. It's super quick. You don't want them to burn. You just kind of want them to change color a little bit. You want to zoom in there?
Oh yeah, I see.
And they'll kind of puff up just a tad bit.
Got it.
And when you're toasting your spices, same thing. Just make sure that you don't burn them. You got to move them like the way I am. You got to be super like, trucha here. Like super cautious, because you don't want this to burn. And then this is going to be the end of your mole. And you got to start So here's the smoked. I'm gonna put this in a molcajete. Smells like I don't want
Does
to
it matter what kind of raisins?
Let's open. I want to open my window because it's starting to get real here, and I don't want to turn on my if I turn on my exhaust, you guys probably won't be able to hear me.
So now we're toasting the cinnamon and the cloves.
Yes, now
And-
we're toasting the cinnamon. And where are my cloves? I'll find my cloves. There were somewhere around here.
I think they were in with the cinnamon.
They were the same thing as cinnamon, but I can't find them. I'll find them. I'll take some more out.
And someone's wondering if it matters what kind of raisins you use. Is there like, should you be using black raisins over gold or?
Here's the thing about mole that I'm gonna be so real about. Use whatever you have. Here's my stuff. If you can find raisins, get dried cranberries. Totally fine.
Oh.
Like it's just, when you go to Mexico, it really is like whatever raisins you find in a store. So just regular old black pruned up raisins. But if you don't have those and all you have is dried cranberries, go for it. Go for it. Like it's really all about just making it your own. Maybe you'll use like dried cranberries and it'll taste better, It really is about making it your own and creating your own flavor and your own sazon, and everyone's mole is gonna taste so different. Everyone. Even we're all following the same recipe. We have the exact same ingredients, but it really at the end of the day, it's all gonna taste very, very different. So right now I'm toasting the cinnamon, cloves, and allspice. Any questions so far?
We just reached through, but here comes a new one in. Are the onions and garlic in with the dry spices? No, not yet.
Not yet, not yet. Right now we're toasting, and after this, I am moving everything that's already and you'll smell it once the cinnamon already starts sort of releasing its flavors. That's when you know to move it to the molcajete. Again, you just want this to release all the essence. Questions, comments?
Yeah,
That's
so
like in my kids' Zoom class. That's what they say. Questions, comments, anyone?
Yeah, a bunch actually just rolled in. So there's no allspice in here, right?
Oh, I call it allspice. It's peppercorns. 12 peppercorns.
Peppercorns or cloves?
We have 12 peppercorns and 3 cloves.
Okay, great. So that answers all the allspice
Yes.
questions.
Sorry, guys. I always call it allspice. It's peppercorns. My mistake.
Okay, and then can we make this dish without tomatillos?
Sure. I mean, it's in the recipe. The thing about tomatillos, it is gonna give it like a different, tomatillos definitely have a different, bittersweet flavor, tartness. But if you don't have them, it's not the end of the world. It's still gonna be a great estofado. Okay. Is it preferred that you have them? Yes. But
And then someone's wondering, is this a common dish?
one of the moles that is, again, easier to make. And this is one that actually my mom would make for us a lot growing up. My mom would actually make this estofado way more than she would make mole negro, for example. Because mole negro, I think it's very reserved for weddings, of course, Dia de los Muertos, things of that such. But I always like to start teaching people estofado because it allows them to kind of start in their mole journey. And it just it allows them to just get comfortable with this process. So right now what I'm going to do is going to take some time, but I am going to go to town with these spices. Not that they've been toasty. I'm going to just...
So are there any secrets for anyone who doesn't have a molcajete for how they could...
Oh, a spice grinder would be great. If you have a spice grinder, go for it. That's good. We're gonna put this in the food processor afterwards anyway. It's when you grind them and you kind of grind them, it's finer and it releases like those, like, I mean, not oils because it's dry, but like those sort of flavors, and it combines them together. So it's nice to do it. It's definitely one of those things that, I can see the difference in, in texture. But if you have a spice grinder, go for it. If you want to put it to the food processor by itself first and then do the rest, you can do that as well. Especially the ¿cómo se dice? The cinnamon. And again, this is a mole estofado that we're making. And no dried chiles, which I think might have caught people by surprise, because when people think of mole, they probably think of, hundreds of chiles.
And chocolate.
And chocolate, yeah. And we don't have either of those two in this mole. But this is a mole that you can just make. Like it's fast, it's easier, it's fast to make. And I just encourage you to make this for your family, every so often.
Do you have other mole recipes in your cookbook?
Yes, we have 7 mole recipes in our cookbook. How many of you guys actually have, I don't know what the proper way of asking this, like raise your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
If you own our cookbook. Happy to answer any cookbook questions as well. This is the hard part. Wait, hold on.
All right.
We've got
4 people raising their hand, and I think that might mean that.
Hey, thank you. Every time I use the molcajete and I'm doing this, I'm like, there's no reason to like work out. It's just like working out your arms.
Now we have 5 people raising their hand, and someone named Adriana says that she's made every mole in the book, and they're absolutely amazing.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. I hope you've made this one and now you're cooking along with me. So nice. So nice. It's unbelievable to think that my family's recipes, my grandma's recipes are now in the homes of so many people around the country. It makes me so happy. So happy. I actually named my daughter Agustina because that was my mom's grandmother and the woman who taught my mom how to cook. And my husband and I were talking, and he said, that's really, it's so special to think that this woman, Agustina, who, lived dozens of years before you, who you've never met, has had such a huge impact in your life today. Because if it wasn't for her, my mom wouldn't have this love for the kitchen, and I wouldn't be doing what I do today. So, it's just so special. And that's what makes me so proud to preserve these recipes and this way of cooking. Do you guys have a molcajete at home, or are you guys spice grinding your spices in a grinder?
We haven't had too many questions about that so far. Someone's wondering how long you cook the tomatillos with the tomatoes, because they're still cooking, right?
No, sorry, I turned these off. You can just tell tomatillo will change color. The tomatillo will change color, and the tomatoes will, these are gonna go tossed in the blender. So just as long as they change color and they're soft to the touch, the tomatillos, then you're good. Takes about 10 minutes.
Okay.
But again, if they're falling apart and you're like, oh my God, totally fine. Don't worry. They're gonna get blended anyway.
Yeah, softer the
That's
better.
why we put a little bit of water in there. So you basically you harvest all the juices. So don't freak out. And thank you for reminding me. Okay.
Someone else says that your cookbook was in her organization's fundraiser event, silent auction, and it got lots of bids.
Which organization? Corazón de Vida? We donated to a couple.
It's named Susan Alva. So maybe Susan can let us know what organization.
Okay. I'm gonna call it a day here.
It was for the Immigrant Defenders Law Center.
Oh yes, yes, in San Diego, I believe it's definitely. I know exactly where you're talking about. Okay. Now it's close to just being powder. There's some pieces of ¿cómo se llama? Cinnamon. I always forget canela. But because you're gonna put, yes?
Oh, sorry. Someone's wondering if there's oil in the raisins and almonds mixture. Is that okay?
Totally okay.
And then
we're gonna fry everything anyway in a little bit, so don't worry about it. Yes.
And then someone's wondering when we put in the garlic, but that's to come. So milagros, just sit tight.
Oh yeah. So now here we're gonna do here we have, now it's time to put everything together. In the food processor, we are going to add the almonds, the sesame seeds, the raisins, all this goodness, the garlic, the onions, the parsley, and we're gonna just process it. And that's when you're gonna get it fine. So here we have the parsley, so come over here. Okay. Here we have the first thing we did. We'll go through it all over again. Actually, you bring this out. And then we move this.
And the olives and the jalapenos don't come until the end.
No, those don't go until the end. So here's what we're gonna do, everyone. Here are the, here's the garlic and the onion that we put in the broiler. If yours looks different, if it's more roasty, we're totally okay. Just go for it, go for it, go for it. Don't overthink it.
Is cilantro okay instead of parsley? Parsley.
Use parsley.
Okay, so that's a no.
And
So
if you don't have it, just don't use it. Just don't use it.
Okay. Just omit parsley if you don't have it.
Yeah, if you don't have it, just don't worry about it. But don't put cilantro. These aren't tacos, girl. Or boy. Okay. So here we go. Here we have the fried almonds, fried sesame seeds, fried raisins, the garlic, the onion, all this goodness is going to go into the food processor. You guys, does it look like this or close to it? Anyone freaking out?
No one's freaking out. Everyone's on track.
Thank you guys so much for cooking with me too. This is so fun. I really appreciate it. You guys are gonna have mole for a while. Put it in your altar de muertos. Offer it to your loved ones. Does anybody have altars at home? Today with my son.
Okay, so tell us what's in the food processor once more.
Sure. And the food processor, as of right now, we have the roasted garlic, the roasted onion, the fried almonds, the fried sesame seeds, and the fried raisins. Now, I'm going to add the parsley. And I am going to add, remember when we toasted all those spices and the molcajete, we're going to put all of this in the processor.
And how fine should you process if there's a setting?
paste.
Paste.
Until you reach a
Right.
paste. Until it becomes so fine. We want it to be really, really fine.
And do they need to smash the almonds that they fried? No.
Because look,
Okay, well, what if they don't have a food processor? How would you deal with the almond, sesame, raisin, garlic, onion, parsley, and spice mix? Maybe crush it like with a masher. I wonder if you can't hear me because of the food processor. Okay, so if someone doesn't have a food processor, how would you try to mimic what just happened with the food processor?
oh, this is not ready. This is not ready yet.
Oh, we can't hear you. Oh, sorry, Liz, your thumb is covering the mic. Okay, try again. Oh no, we still can't hear you. I wonder what's going on. Liz, can you? Okay, there we go.
Okay, if this is happening to you at home, I didn't have enough onion. Some onion, I didn't have enough onion. I'll put a little bit of water in the processor just to get it going. So it just becomes a little more pasty. So if it's happening to you at home, just add a little bit of broth. I just didn't have enough onion.
So if someone only has the setting shred, puree, or chop, should they do puree?
Puree, repeat that?
Shred, puree, or chop?
Which one?
Which one should they do if they don't have paste setting?
Oh, just high. Then your blender, like the highest setting you have. Puree.
Okay.
Puree, you said? Was that
Puree,
one?
I think probably.
Puree.
Yeah.
And again, this is gonna happen. Just mix it around. Oops. Mix it around. Oh, it smells so good. Mix it around, and if you are not getting that pasty consistency, feel free to add a little bit of broth just to get it going. It's totally fine.
So if someone doesn't have a food processor, do you have any suggestions for how they can achieve the same effect?
Yeah, a very powerful blender. So you can put it on like in a Vitamix,
Mm-hmm.
or just put it in the blender until what you want is for everything to just like come together.
Okay.
Okay. Still going, still going. Okay, let me show you. Is you're gonna keep going until it gets like way more pasty. So I'll show you what I have right now.
Someone said if theirs is really coarse and thick, should
Yes.
they?
Add a
Like-
little bit of broth,
Okay.
and then just keep going. As you can see, just by real time, how long this is taking. It's just gotta get all. This is like what we're mimicking in this process. Traditionally, in Oaxaca, you take it through a stone grinder. So what we're doing here is making sure that everything just gets together. So I don't have a stone grinder. I'm sure you don't have a stone grinder at home. So we have a food processor in a very high setting, or we have a very powerful blender. So those are the options. But that's what we're mimicking. And then the stone grinder, you would add a little bit of water just to get it through. And with this, I'm just adding a little bit of chicken broth just to get it going and just get that really nice paste. Does that make sense to everyone before I turn this on and lose the audio?
I think so. Yeah, people seem to be okay. Maybe before you start the food processor, can you remind people what is in it once more?
Okay, so in the food processor, we have fried almonds, fried sesame seeds, fried raisins. We have oregano, thyme, onion, garlic. Am I missing anything? Cinnamon. While we do that, I'm actually gonna blend the tomatoes as well. Okay. Tomatoes, tomatillos, you're gonna blend those. We'll probably like one thing.
All right, we've got some questions. Okay.
Let's
here
take
we
a break.
go.
Tell us.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Let's take a quick break. So are the toasted garlic and the onion in the food processor?
Yes.
Okay, yes. And then the recipe also calls for sugar, but we've not put that in yet, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, we're not
And then
there yet.
Is there any salt in the tomatoes?
Is there any salt in the tomatoes? No, not yet.
No. Okay. And then do we keep the tomato liquid or drain before placing in blender?
So you only put like a quarter cup of water in there. You shouldn't have a lot of water left. This is how much water like there was left on mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You keep it in the pan and you just remove the vegetables. Okay.
Yeah. So I am going to keep blending this.
And then one more question. Are there peppercorns in the food processor? Yes, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this in high again, just that fry's gonna be a little bit longer. But I just tasted it, it tastes so good. So we're gonna let that baby like just grind and grind and grind. Oh my gosh, it's almost time. It's almost 6 o'clock. Okay. And it's building this up. So what are we? Oh. Okay. So what are we gonna do next? Whatever's in the food processor, I'm gonna fry that whole thing. Like I'm actually gonna put some oil in my Dutch oven in my big pot here. I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna fry it, and I'm gonna dump the tomato liquid raw, and then we're gonna add a little bit. We got the sugar, and we're gonna add the salt, and then we're gonna be done. Any questions?
Yeah, so okay, 2 questions. How many people will this serve?
How many people does this serve?
Well, we're doing an entire chicken, so I would say like 6 to 8 for sure.
Okay. And then the tomatoes aren't in the blender, not the food processor, to answer Christy Ma. And yes, now they're like a liquid. And then how long can you store this mole?
You can freeze it, and like it'll freeze for a long time.
Okay.
For a couple months. And I would say as long as like chicken broth, like that's like the kind of rule of thumb situation that I follow. Here we go.
People want to see what the paste looks like. So
Here we
yeah, it looks pretty amazing, pretty thick.
Yep. Again.
And the parsley went into the blender, or I mean into the food processor.
Yes. Here we go. And again, what we're mimicking here is this whole thing. Think of it like this should have gone through like a stone grinder. So we just want to make sure that everything is super fine. And again, it's like make sure that you add a little bit of liquid to make sure you get it through. Here we go.
So right now the pan so far just has the paste.
Yep, we're frying it.
It's on medium heat.
Yep, medium heat.
And jalapenos and olives are yet to come, so don't throw them in with the paste, everyone.
No, not yet. Everyone's getting ahead of themselves. Someone's like is someone's food processor more powerful than mine that got it to the paste faster than me?
So anything that hasn't been mentioned yet just isn't in yet, folks. Just wait and see.
You guys said the paste, taste the paste. It tastes so good. Oh my God. Okay. The paste has been fried. We're going to strain the tomatoes into our pot.
Straining the potato or the tomatoes. Okay, got it.
The blender and the food processor woke up my daughter,
Oh, no.
my poor baby.
So what's the major difference in ingredients and time to make the dark mole?
Well, in dark mole, we would be using chiles. We're having like 3 different types of chiles. So the time it takes to roast the chiles, open these chiles, de-seed the chiles, roast them or fry them. But the essence of it is the same.
Got it. And the chicken, is it meant to kind of be like room temperature right now and it'll get heated up in one of these next steps?
Yeah, we can add the chicken in a little bit. Right now, the chicken, if right now if you cook the chicken right before this class, like the way I did, it should be like, you know, not room temp, but I have it here in my stove, you guys can see. Okay, now we are incorporating the paste with the tomato.
Looks amazing.
Thank you. I hope it tastes amazing for everybody. My daughter is crying. I can hear her. And I am going to add the rest of the chicken broth.
People
Can
are
you
saying
guys hear
it's
my
so great.
baby crying?
Yeah, we can hear her.
Sorry, guys. Well, no, I'm not sorry. I'm like, my daughter. My husband's downstairs. Okay, now that's gonna cook down, and then we're going to season it with sugar and salt.
The long-awaited sugar addition.
And the olives. I know everyone's like, when are we gonna put the olives?
So is this mole available for purchase at your restaurant shop?
So this estofado isn't. What we have is, I mean, if you go to the restaurant, you can definitely order it. But we have these great jars, mole negro jars, mole rojo jars, that basically you just add this chicken broth and the tomato, like the way we did it, and then it's done.
And someone's saying the paste is darker, that their paste is darker than what you had. And is that a problem? And no, right? Because it's
No.
all going to be a little different.
No, it's all going to look a little different. And again, we're going to cook this down. Sometimes, like, it's the difference is in the tomatoes or the type of tomatoes that you got or wherever. I don't know where you live. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's all going to look a little bit different, but it you know, also the spices, the oregano that we use, did you roast it a lot? Like not enough. It's all really in that, but if you taste it and if you like it, then you did a great job. So we're gonna let that cook down for about like 10 minutes. And after that, I'm gonna taste it, I'm gonna season it, and we are going to be like done.
So you, how much chicken broth did you reserve, and how much would you say went into the paste versus like ending up in the pan?
Yeah, so I reserved 3 cups. I put about half a cup into the paste, and then the rest I just put it in here.
Great.
But it's 3 cups in total reserved. So as you can see here, there's like little bits and pieces. This is what happens. So like when I was grinding in the molcajete, I didn't grind it enough. It should have been finer, which is why you get like these little beats, but it's fine. For the sake of time, I just kind of, you know, rushed through it a little bit, like the molcajete grinding, the spice grinding. But it's still going to be delicious. Like the paste, I tasted it and it was just so perfect. Are you guys liking what you guys have?
Yes, some people are concerned that their darker paste is an issue, but it's not. It's about taste. So what's in the pan so far is your paste, your tomatoes and tomatillos that are blended, and your broth. That
Yes.
is what you have left over from what you reserved from 3 cups, but you put some into your paste, and then the rest just went into the
Yes.
the pot.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Again, if it's darker, it's because you need to grind maybe like grind the spices a little bit more. Like again, I didn't grind them enough. I just kind of like went really fast just for the sake of time. It's already 6 o'clock. But it's really like the flavor is like 100% there. So here we're gonna add some sugar.
So the half cup, right?
Yes. And salt. And again, we're gonna cook this down and then you serve it with chicken. My mom would be very proud right now. And as you can see here already, it's already changing colors a little bit. Like the more it's like, I don't know if you guys can tell.
Oh yeah.
But it's already a different color. I mean, I know we're losing light here already, but.
So are you trying to reduce the mole by a certain amount, like a third or a quarter?
This is going to be maybe like not like a fifth maybe.
Okay.
Just so we can get it a little bit thicker. Right now, as you can, like if you can look, the consistency is still watery. So we're reducing it just so it can get just a little bit more, what do you call it? Like less watery. There's a specific word.
A medium high.
Thicker,
Right
thicker.
now?
We gotta get a little bit thicker. That's all we're
And
trying to do.
It's cooking on like a medium high.
Yep, medium high.
Okay, medium high. And how much salt are you adding? Just kind of to taste?
Oh, this is the sugar, the half a cup sugar. I just always like to add little by little. It's a habit of mine. I also like to just taste it like as it goes. Some people may not like it as sweet as it is. So for me, it doesn't matter if like, this is when, again, I go back to like creating your own flavor and your own sazon. This is like when you create it. When I would say with the sugar and salt, like do half of it and then like taste as you go. Because this is when you're gonna do it to your own liking. And this is when you create your own flavor. Does that make sense for everybody?
Made sense to me. I think I got it.
Okay, now we're gonna let it simmer. I am going to close this. 5 minutes. Oh my God. Wash my hands really good.
So for the tomatillo
Pretty good.
tomato strainer, how much did you remove? How fine is the strain, would you say?
Well, I passed it through, just passed it through like a double fine mesh strain, and that's good. The reason why you strain is because we're cooking it with the skin on, so we're blending it with the skin, and because of that, we want to make sure we blend it. We strain it. We're just gonna let that cook down, and then we're like, that's it. Then you add some chicken on top, and we're good to go. I'm gonna add the olives now. The big moment of the olives that everybody was waiting for. Olives. I'm gonna add a few of these pickled jalapenos.
So if someone didn't strain their tomatoes and tomatillos, can they just have pulpy mole?
That's fine.
Yeah, great.
I think like my answer to everything this whole time was like, you're fine. The only thing was like the cilantro. And here's the thing that I like to do. Some people like it, some people don't. I love to add vinegar and pretty much everything I cook. That's kind of like the thing. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of the vinegar from the pickled pickled jalapenos in the mole, just to add like a little bit of acidity. It was just like a little. Honestly, that's just me being me. It's not even like in the book or anything. I just like to do it.
So do the olives make or break the recipe?
You want the olives. But like if you don't like olives, like if you're a person that is allergic to olives or you just don't like the flavor of olives, just take them out. I'm like the most chillest. I'm like the most chillest. I guess you would say cook, right? Like sure, whatever you want. Do as you wish.
So when people are plating, they'll do rice on the bottom with chicken and then topped by the mole sauce.
Yeah, when people are plating, I would say this needs to cook down a little bit more because you want it to be thicker. But you know, you can grab like a chicken. Just again, this is just very like this is the way we in Oaxaca. You put mole on it, and then you put a little bit of rice on the side. I don't have rice in my home right now, so I'll just do that with the mole on top. And you put a few pieces of pickled jalapeno.
As like a garnish.
Yeah, I like to have it with the jalapeno. I think because of the hint of spice and hint of acidity. Again, this mole has no chile. So the only way you get that, just like a hint of spice, is through the jalapeno.
And you could put the chicken in the pot too if you wanted, right?
You could put the chicken right now, but make sure it's already cooked. Don't cook the chicken in here. Don't put raw chicken in here.
Right.
You can put cooked chicken in here. Yes, 100%. Any other questions?
Yeah, I actually was saving some for the end here.
Okay, we're at the end.
Yeah, so with the Molcajete and Comal, how do you cure them after you buy them?
The Comal, honestly, I'll just wipe it. I don't wash it. I don't put soap in it. That's it. I just sort of like do it. With the Molcajete, same thing. Like I'll just wipe it down with a damp cloth, and then that's it. Like that's my Molcajete. A specific way you can add a little bit of, it's called cal, which is lime, and just kind of wipe it down, and that's a great way of curing a comal. I don't do tortillas on this one. This one is just the one that I use to toast my chiles and spices. Because it's just easier. Or I heat up tortillas, but I don't cook my tortillas in that one.
Got it. And then someone else is wondering if you started a restaurant in Palms before your current location.
Oh, the Guelaguetza in Palms was my aunt Soledad. Guelaguetza, in the beginning, my parents and my aunt were partners, and they split up, and my aunt kept the one in Palms, and my dad kept the one on 8th Street, and then later on he opened more restaurants. But yes, the one in Palms was my aunt's.
Oh, cool. So Dawn says, I know you said you can use veggie broth instead of chicken broth, and we can use lengua instead of chicken, but he just wants to use mole on vegetables with no meat. He wants to know, do you have any suggestions for vegetables that would work well with this mole, or does it really need the meat?
If you want to do mole with vegetables, I would say with this one, like, do you want to have it as a dressing? If you want to do it with veggies, what I suggest is that you
just cook this down by half until it gets really like really thick. And then you can put it over carrots, for example, will be really, really good. I think that's what I would do with this mole specifically. But if you want to put something like cauliflower or like a heartier vegetable, I would do like the black mole for sure.
Okay. So people are making sure that you didn't actually put like the jalapenos themselves into the pot yet. So you just put the vinegar in from the pickled
I put the vinegar and I put two pieces of just like two
jalapenos.
pieces of pickled jalapenos.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that we have come to the end here. I mean, people are going to let this reduce and make it their dinner. We've run out of questions, so it seems like people are probably pretty happily enjoying the fruits of their labor.
This is really, really good.
I wish I was there. I wish I could taste it. I'm going to do this myself over the weekend. You know, your food is so delicious. I know that
This is bad that I'm like licking this spoon with my here.
Oh, you're in your house. We're all at home. We can do whatever we want. Well, thank you so much, Bricia, for this amazing instruction, for guiding us along here.
No,
people are saying really
thank you to every single person that logged in. I hope that you cooked along with me. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Don't be hard on yourself. Cooking is about enjoying the process, being able to make fun of yourself, being able to give yourself permission to mess up and try again. Cooking is supposed to be a wonderful experience. Don't take anything too serious.
Amen. Well, with that, I hope that everyone enjoys their weekend and Dia de los Muertos and Halloween and their delicious mole. Thank you so much, Bricia, for leading us through today's lesson. And I hope everyone enjoys their weekend. Bye.